here with Truck and Travel. Run, Warriors!
I know you gonna dig this.
Welcome to Relax, Reset, and Rewind.
Yay! We wanted to do something different. I don't know. Welcome to the show. Truck and
We'll
Travel.
see how it goes.
Yeah. So basically we just wanted to let you guys know how we're doing. The cat is like staring up at that camera at the blinking light pretty intently.
Oh man.
Yeah. I don't know where the other one's at, but
So I think for our videos that are going to come out during the week showing like our journey and stuff, we want to keep those a little bit shorter and stuff, so there may be some stuff that we want to talk about that takes more time.
Yeah.
And more in a relaxed atmosphere too, where we don't feel like we have to rush real quick.
Or one of us is driving, or between loads. It's
So this is when we are relaxing, resetting, and so we're going to rewind and talk about everything that, you know, you guys have had some questions too on videos, and sometimes the response is way longer than even a small paragraph.
Yeah. And sometimes the questions are bigger than a small paragraph.
Yeah. So we figured we'd talk about, like, let's just start with this past week, how it went.
Well, we'll even talk about this month potentially.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Okay, I want to say that we're wanting to do our debt journey videos in order. We pre-recorded some and I totally screwed up. I
didn't catch it either, because I woke up and he's like, all right, I bet I edited the next video. I'm like,
it's out.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then today he's like, okay, let's go ahead and, you know, let's do a video. What one do you want to do? I'm like, well, let's do November's. And he's like, well, no, we've already done November. December's out. And I'm like, did we do November though? I'm like, did we post it though? Or you know, so I'm like, let's check and double check. So we went from October to December, but we do have November recorded.
We recorded it.
So we just have to, well, I'm going to say he's going to edit it and then put it out. So that it'll be out of order, but we do want to tell you like the different things that we did pay off, because that month we actually had something different happen. So this is also new, so I don't know whether to I keep looking at that camera.
Just look at
or
this
like
one.
look at this one.
No, just look at me even. You don't have to look. Yeah.
Oh, I'd love to look at you. So anyways, so we need to have that video will be out of order, but it'll be okay.
Yeah.
We just kind of wanted to warn you guys just a little bit. Norton, by the way, one of our two cats, he is not a lap cat at all. Like, doesn't let you hold him or anything like that. And so I'm soaking this in. He's tired and he just wants to nap. So but like, anyways,
like when we first started out, we came out of the gate just flying like a racehorse, wanting to win the freaking Gold Cup or whatever them horses run for. Right? You think I know, but I don't. But anyways,
the prize.
Yeah, for a sea truck, I thought we was doing excellent.
Yeah.
Especially for a lower rate year or whatever they're calling it, low pay rate, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
For 2019, and then once January hit, we got sick. So it wasn't like because we didn't make the mark in January, but it wasn't necessarily because not comfortable. I got it.
Hold on, watch. He hates being held like. Okay, make me look stupid. But anyways,
so like January comes. We didn't hit 20 grand, and it wasn't necessarily because of the loads. It was because of how much we were home, because we were sick.
We were really sick. Like, I literally was sick for like a month and two weeks. Like the first 2 weeks, I just did not feel good no matter what. Wasn't really sleeping, and then it all of a sudden felt like it was getting better. And then the next day I woke up and it was worse than the whole 2 weeks that I experienced.
And then I ended up getting sick later too.
And then as soon as I started to like actually feel a little bit better, he started to get worse.
Yeah.
Like started to get sick himself.
And I felt really bad, and I did not want to do anything.
We ended up staying like home like 10 days in a row when he was not feeling good and stuff. So we missed out on a lot of loads, and we tried. You know, we didn't get the bonus, and
No.
I don't think we got any of the, we didn't get any of the bonuses.
No. I want to say we was around 17,000.
Yeah, that
for
seems
the month.
right. Yeah.
And we had a lot of days. That was the most days that we
Yeah,
were down.
which really
Or
stinks too.
the most days that we were home, I should say.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there was times where we came home because Cinnamon was sick, but we got load opportunities, and I bet that sucker high but decent enough to where we might get it. And there's like a couple times we got it, and I was like, man, I feel bad for Cinnamon, but this is paying good. And so that's why we were up so high. I think if we weren't sick, that we could have been above 20.
And I will throw the disclaimer out: if I wasn't feeling well enough to drive or anything like that, then I wouldn't have done. I wouldn't have put anybody in danger.
Oh yeah,
like
and I wouldn't have, forced you, because
he woke me up one time and he's like, "Hey, now you can say no, but we got a bid. This is." I'm like, "Where's it going?" and he started laughing, and he's like, he tells me, and I'm like, "How much did you get it for?" And he tells me, I'm like, "Okay, I'll get up," because we were here.
Yeah, and it was in the AM too, during Cinnamon's sleep time. Yeah. So
but I was okay with it because I'm like, man, we've taken off so much work, and we needed the money. We needed to make enough for bills, and plus we're still at that in January putting money aside for taxes and stuff.
Yeah.
Still, so we did run out. Went in the cup, and then January happened, and then February happened.
Yeah.
And we were told that, it looked like March was going to pick up and stuff. Well,
yeah. Well, February was slower than January.
Yeah. And
that was a struggle. We barely hit 20,000. We didn't get the bonus from FedEx. We just got it from the fleet owner. And we ended up going to Texas. Laredo, Texas. Because that's what... Ooh. All right, before we keep on going into that, we're just going to take a little break right here. Okay, so we got a load that went all the way down to Laredo, Texas, and we took it because it got us to the 20 grand. It was down to the wire.
It was down to, I think, 20,000 and like maybe $100 or something like it was just us, and it was enough. So we took it, and bad place to get out of.
A horrible place to get out of.
It was really bad.
We went up north a little bit and stayed at a Love's truck stop for the weekend and reset, and we did not get any loads from there.
I saw a woman come out of the bathroom, and she didn't wash her hands either. I'm just like, I was just so shocked because I was washing my hands, and she was talking on the phone, and then she like looked at herself and then walked out, and I'm like, I almost said Lavarsi Los Manos or something. I forget how to say it.
but this was before like
the whole coronavirus,
before everybody was getting scared.
Yeah, that was him interpreting. This is you interpreting my.
Yeah. So her scared level is just like, that's gross. It wasn't like, that's gross and you're gonna kill somebody.
Now I would have probably been like, you need to wash your hands. Like,
get the heck over there. We're not like big germaphobes, but we are kind of taking precautions right now just to be safe during this whole thing.
Yeah, I do have a small story just to tell. When we come home on the weekends, we don't really keep anything in our fridge because we don't know when we're gonna come home next, and we don't want it to spoil and waste money and all that. So we usually buy just enough for when we're home. So this is the first time we were home since, the whole coronavirus and everything like that. So I went to go get some pizza, and I went to go grab something at Walmart, and I also had to go to the post office. And all of them were for, things that we needed because we didn't have, whatever. Well, at the post office and at Walmart, walking in, I had a mask on, like a
recently, yeah.
Yeah, this was actually yesterday. I had a mask on, and then I took my, I have a Ohio State cloth thing that I put over it because I'm like, maybe they won't notice I have a mask. Maybe they think I'm just, like, I just was embarrassed to wear it. And
they might have just grabbed more attention doing that, to be honest.
I don't know. But
I think you stuck out even more. Yeah.
I don't know, but to be honest, when I walked in, there were some people that like looked at me like I was strange, and oh my gosh, this girl, like, what is, you know what I mean? Like, she's so paranoid.
Yeah.
And some people like laughed, and those are more teenagers. that we're hanging out, which
Yeah.
all orders say that you're not supposed to.
Shouldn't,
you know. And then some people like looked at me and rolled their eyes and kept walking. Like I felt embarrassed to be wearing a mask, but with us going everywhere and coming into contact with a lot of different people, no matter how hard we try not to, I could be carrying it and I could spread it to you. So like I did it for their own protection.
Right.
And they just totally looked at me like I was insane.
Yeah, I mean,
and being over, you know.
potentially you could be saving their grandmother or their family member.
Yeah.
Yeah, or them. But
Yeah.
because I mean, yeah, there might not be as many deaths as the common flu, but the country is getting kind of shut down to prevent it from escalating way above that.
I think if we would just act like we normally do with the flu and stuff,
I think
then
it would blow up.
the numbers would outdo it.
I mean, look at Italy. That's what freaks me out is like
Yeah.
their hospitals and morgues are so overwhelmed. Like people, I think their whole funeral arrangement thing's all screwed up. It's awful.
That is sad. And you know, while we've been on the road, every time we have to stop and go to the bathroom, like, you know, not touching the door handle and washing your hands a lot, and it's very disheartening seeing how some people are reacting to it. Because like I was in the bathroom and I heard a mom come in with 2 little kids, and one of the little kids was using the bathroom like coughing. You could tell she wasn't covering her mouth. Like, I mean, you could kind of tell by the cough. I don't think she was covering her mouth, but she was coughing a lot. And then she came out. When she came out, the mom came in, and the mom said, you know, make sure you wash your hands thoroughly and good. And she's like, okay. Very young kid. I heard the water turn on for 2 to 3 seconds. Like, on,
Probably just
off.
put her hands under the water and yeah.
And that's it. And I stayed in the stall for as long as I could before like more people were coming in. Then I'd have to get out, you know, because there's only a limited amount of stalls. But I mean, I personally, if it was me, I would be, and I heard that, I'd be listening as a mom. I would wash her hands for her if I knew that she couldn't do it herself, like properly.
Yeah.
And it just hearing that, you know, it's very frustrating.
But yeah, nonetheless, you know, take precautions, you know, pretend it is bad as they say it is, you know. But yeah, I really don't want to talk too much about that just because it's everywhere, and it's just, I don't know. It's getting old, but I play it safe, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I will say that we had a fair amount of loads this week where we're not taking them at our higher rate.
Well, we didn't even finish talking about, like, January was decent except for we were down, so
right.
If we weren't down, we would have been above 20.
Yeah.
I'm pretty confident.
Yeah, I think so,
and then February rolls around, and we just had a fight tooth and nail because it felt like people were just taking it off the load boards for what it was.
Yeah.
And then March rolls around, and like the end of February, that's how we ended up in Laredo's because, you know, it was hard, and that got us over the mark. And then March had a rough start because of that load in Laredo. I was trying to take it from there into March and make sure the pay was, you know, at least so much per mile, so that way we don't, you know, hurt the owners.
I don't think we got our first load in March until March 4th. So like that's 3 whole days, you know what I mean? And I think that was a Wednesday, I want to say, or something, Tuesday or Wednesday. So
and like the expediting game, it's hurry up and wait, but we're still on that mentality of we gotta move, you know. So we're not used.
I mean, especially if we have a goal. If our goal is to hit, you know, 13 loads at least, you know, in a month, we're gonna keep moving until.
Let's just go ahead and take a break right here.
All right.
We get into March, and at this point, the fuel prices are dropping like crazy because the oil wars in Iran, Russia, and Saudi Arabia, and then the fuel surcharge is going down a little bit. So I feel like the rates are starting to go down a little bit because of repercussion of that. And then people are continuing to still just take the loads for what they are.
Yeah.
And so
it's very frustrating.
We got scared, and we're getting decent bids, but it was taking us to places that were kind of dead, but not real far out, but kind of dead, you know.
So then it turns the bids into crap.
Yeah. And then the owners told us, you know, because I reached out to them because I was really worried about, you know, not making at least 20 grand to the truck, and, you know, I was having a hard time getting a certain pay per mile overall for all miles. And then they told me, you know, we could do it between this and this, and they would be happy. And so that made life a lot easier. And so then I kind of changed the goal for the month, you know, because technically me and Cinnamon need to make more than, if we do not get any bonuses, pretty much in order for us to cover our bills, we need to make like 22,000 or a little bit more to the truck, you know, because then our cut ends up being to where we just cover our bills and our food and all kinds of stuff. So once we, you know, we had a new game plan, and, you know, we ended up changing it up to where we're only going certain places and trying to be within range of certain cities. And our pay per mile did go down, and we ended up running more with lower. It's taped up.
I could hear it move though.
And plus, we wanted to stay out of some of these hot spots with the viruses. So yeah, it's big fat whatever. And it came down to it. Today is, what is today? The 28th?
Yes.
So it's March 28th right now. As of right now, we're going to hit both bonuses
If the loads that we have scheduled for the rest of the month don't cancel.
And we got 2 loads scheduled. So yeah. If both of them cancel, we're totally screwed.
If both of them cancel, since we're already dispatched on one,
well, then
we will get the FedEx bonus.
One. But then we'll miss out. Yeah, we'll miss out on the owner's bonus.
And I will say this: I remember someone commented about on one of our debt videos and asked if, you know, it was a video where we made like 11,000 or whatever for the month, and they said, you know, how can you just barely pay your bills with 11,000? How come it's only 3,000 off your principal?
Yeah,
it's because we do have payments where there's a lot of interest.
Yeah, the interest is what's killing most of this crap.
I mean, if you take the truck alone, I think on one of the payments,
our pickup truck, our personal truck,
yeah, like over $300 a month that we're paying in interest.
Yeah,
and then if you take one of our credit cards, over $300 a month for paying on interest. Like, yeah, there's a lot of, you know, so we have a lot that we pay out, and, you know, we're making a good dent with the principal and stuff, but that's why when you see a big number that comes to us, you know, at least 800 of it is going to food, because we just do, like, we're out on the road, and truck stop food is very expensive. So.
But even if we ate healthy, you know, even when we
it'd be around the same price.
It was around the same price, yeah. So, but
just because of buying grass-fed, you know, beef
and trying to eat healthy, yeah. So,
but you know, even with that, and I know some people are gonna be like, just eat ramen and you'll be fine.
Oh, screw that.
If you eat healthier foods and stuff, you're not gonna like. Here's this. Either you're gonna have a lot of healthy foods and lower doctor's bills because you're not gonna have a lot of health problems, or you're gonna eat ramen and Skittles and pop and everything, and your health is gonna suck, and you're gonna need those appointments to see the doctor.
Yeah, so what our goal is to do nutrient dense keto, and at least when you do keto, if you do it right, you have high fat, and that high fat has a lot of nutrients where you don't feel hungry after you eat, to where you feel like you need to keep eating more even though you're full.
Because your body uses that as an energy source, and it lasts longer. Yeah. You don't have to keep fueling the fire.
You don't have to keep eating throughout the day.
Sugar and carbs that burn through so fast.
At least that's the idea. But and that's something that we're going to try to get back into, because we kind of fell off the wagon in February. We're calling it, what, Freaking Fat February?
Freaking Fat February.
Yeah, that was just... And then it kind of rolled over into March, and March was supposed to stop, but it didn't. Man, it's turned into our own little March Madness, you know what I mean? And I gained, I want to say, around 10 pounds just in February from eating all that bad crap. And that's the worst time, because we weren't making any money, but it was just like so stressful for me.
Yeah, emotional eater, that's for sure.
So yeah, and I was wanting to go back to Planet Fitness, because we have a, what do you call it?
A membership.
Yeah. I wanted to go back there to work out, you know.
And I will say, if anybody's thinking like, well, that's a luxury to have it and stuff, we actually, both Derek and I have bad backs.
Mm.
I've been in an accident before. He's used
I've
to
had
ride
it.
bulls. Like we have bad
We've been beat
backs.
up, yeah. So
So, um, so we use the massage chairs, and then if we're able to park there
and work out or
and work
something.
out, we
Yeah.
do. You
And
know.
plus, it does give us. There's been times where we just stop there to use the restroom
Yeah.
and switch.
Yeah.
Do our pre-trip or post-trip there, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's helped out having that membership there.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and take another break. The only reason why we're home now is because we got a load that's picking up that's like 100 miles away. And it was actually, we got it for a decent pay too.
Yeah.
Compared to what we've been doing, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
And so we're using that to come back home. We was going to actually stay down there because we needed like $970 more just to get our fleet owner's bonus. And so we was willing to stay down there in hopes that we could get like a day run or just something
In
before,
between now and yeah,
before our next load that we're set up for, because our one load drops at like 2:30 a.m. Friday morning or something like that.
Like in the morning, yeah.
And then our next one didn't pick up until like Monday afternoon sometime. And so we were going to stay down there in that city just to find something, but Cinnamon actually found the next load on the load board.
And it was actually decent.
It was actually
like
good.
A load board price.
Yeah, it seems most of the time load board prices are not fun at all.
No.
Yeah. And so this one actually worked out. I almost feel like the load board, like, it seems like some loads are starting to go up in freight price.
Well, that's good.
Which it should, because with this virus crap going around.
I feel like we should be paid more because
Yeah.
we're putting ourselves in.
This
Somebody
is actually hazardous.
Somebody had a meme and said, I feel like those who are essential workers should be paid hazmat pay.
Or hazardous pay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like there's way more workers working right now than there are that are unemployed. I don't know for a fact, but it's not good.
Not saying that it didn't, it doesn't suck for like the service industry and stuff, which,
sucks
the
for
service
everybody.
industry is hard enough.
Like, if people are unemployed for a certain amount of time, there are a statistic of how many deaths there are just from people being unemployed. So
that's crazy.
Yeah. So either way, it's not good. I'm not saying that deaths will happen from that, but if they are depending on their pay to pay for medicines or whatever, that sucks. Because I know a guy that got fired from the factory I used to work at, and he was a diabetic and he couldn't afford his pills. That, just because he couldn't afford his pills, that killed him.
Oh, but.
So I mean.
Yeah, it's a reality that
things like that happen.
Yeah.
So employment is an important thing. It's no joke.
This is a good time for has probably caught the attention of some people to look into Dave Ramsey, because if everybody did Dave Ramsey, his plan, everybody would have an emergency fund. They would be working on their debt, and like,
just imagine if we didn't have debt, we would probably be like, you know what, we're gonna sit a couple months out.
Yeah.
But right now we don't have a choice.
Yeah.
Just like everybody else that's working, they don't have a choice.
But if we weren't working, we do have an emergency fund. But I mean, even that wouldn't last, because it's just like the small emergency fund while you're working. You know what I mean?
It'll get burnt out. Yeah. But it would be nice to have the option. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I will say this. I was gonna say that the nice thing is that while we're home, sometimes I think this happened last time too. There'll be one of the nights that we're home where you let me sleep like however long I want to sleep. You don't bother me, or you're not like, hey, it's time to wake up. Like, I have a certain time that I,
schedule,
try to stick to and stuff. And I this happened last time too. I end up sleeping 12 hours.
Wow.
Or it was around 12 hours, probably like 11.
Yeah.
But it was great. I didn't have any cats walking on me.
Oh yeah.
I was in our bed, it was just fantastic. Like, I woke up and I was like wide awake, and I can't tell you the last time.
Feels good though.
It does.
Yeah, so it does help to be home. We wanted to do our laundry at home, take showers at home.
Be able to move around freely without having to worry about any
Virus or
germs
germs,
and,
yeah. Because every time we go into a truck stop, I feel like that's a highly contagious place because it's kind of cramped, people going in and out.
There were so many people at Walmart.
And then,
It was ridiculous.
you got people that just don't take this seriously, so they're not, probably washing like they should be, and
Nope.
so
Probably just rinsing off their hands. And it's awesome because I love storms and everything, and it is raining. And this morning,
so if you can hear the rain, that's what it is.
It's not a sound effect. But this morning when Derek was sleeping, I felt very bad because he thought I was knocking on the door, and
I thought she could lock herself out of the house or something. But
so he's like, Cinnamon, and so I came into the room like, yeah, and then I felt bad because he went back to, I shut the door, and I sat back on the couch. I've been being so lazy this time that we've been home. That's okay. I'm actually relaxing. It's nice.
I try to bug her to just do that, just relax.
But I was sitting there, and at 10:30, he was waking up at noon. At 10:30, there was like a loud boom, and like it even shook the house a little bit. And I'm like, just let him sleep, weather, But he didn't wake up, and he said he didn't, remember it, so that's good.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah.
I feel like whenever you sleep, even though, like, I feel like when you would try and sleep during the day, and my sleep was at night when we were on opposite shifts, I felt like there was always everything that tried to wake you up. And then when we switched shifts, I'm like, it's okay, I can fall back asleep and stuff. And, I do have to sleep a lot when you're driving and stuff, going down the road, which stinks, but I'm okay with it. But even though we switched shifts, sometimes, like, there's a lot of things that are, disturbing and trying to wake you up and stuff. And I'm always like, seriously? Just let him sleep. He might have actually fallen asleep.
And actually, since we switched shifts, you drive a lot less now.
I do.
There are some times where you'd have a few hundred miles more than me before, but now it's like you do like a quarter or a third of what I do.
But in exchange for not having to drive, I have to try and sleep while he's driving. So it's kind of like a...
Yeah, it's a bad... It's kind of a bad deal.
Each of us have a thing,
And so I try my hardest to do the most miles I can so Cinnamon doesn't have to. So that way I don't have to ride in the back
while it's moving.
Yeah. So that it's bad, you know what I mean? I'm not trying to screw Cinnamon over. I'm looking out for me. Well, I kind of am, but I mean, I feel like you do better sleeping.
It's easier for me to fall back asleep too.
And I try to do the most miles I can, so that way we get there or we're close, so that way we have less to worry about. And then I try to do the fueling, and then return. Cinnamon does the paperwork, and she cleans the kitty litter. And so I try to keep my end of the deal up. It's like an unspoken deal.
And he does like the strapping and stuff. While I do like the paperwork. Like, so we have our like
our own, like, we have our jobs.
Yeah.
And I think we got a good system going.
I think so too.
I mean, I'm just super excited that we got both bonuses in the month of March.
Yeah.
Because if you translate it, it's like it adds like a little bit over $1,000 for the month before taxes to us. So that's a big deal. And since it wasn't, the truck needs to make like $22,000 and something for us just to cover our bills and expenses, without the bonuses. But this made it like as if we did get. You can yawn, it don't matter.
Oh,
I can see her holding it.
No, I'm trying not to yawn because I look weird when I yawn.
Everybody looks weird when they yawn. Everybody's ugly when they cry.
Oh my gosh, I'm the ugliest crier. Like, my whole face gets red and splotchy, and I mean,
Yeah.
Tell me I'm beautiful when I cry.
You're beautiful when you cry. You're gorgeous. This is how this works. Happy wife, happy life.
That's very true, Derek. It's very true.
Let's go ahead and take a break on that note. All right, Cinnamon was telling me during the break that she wanted to tell a little story that happened recently.
Yeah. And it's a big reality too.
Yeah.
So
something to think about with this job or any other transport industry, whatever.
Yeah. So there's specific places that even have signs that say, you know, cargo theft, you know, high in this area.
Chicago,
like
we're
Chicago
talking about
is a
right
big,
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's
We'll
even
throw
on
that
that,
out
like
there.
that flashing sign, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm gonna stop at this rest stop.
No,
Nope.
not today.
So Derek and I, we take certain precautions. We don't park in cities. We don't even stop in cities. We did one time, and we ended up having to give somebody some of our food just so he would leave us alone.
Some dude, you could tell that he was hustling. He wasn't legit homeless or anything.
He came to us and said, "Hey guys, I used to be a CDL driver, and
This guy, check this out. This dude had a trucker's headset, but it looked like it got ran over. No homeless person wears broken devices. Okay, he's just trying to look the part. Then he had like torn up clothing, and just gave us a spill or whatever. And we came out. I knew he was going to hit us up, so I asked Cinnamon if she had like any singles or whatever, so that way I would be like, "This is all we got, buddy. You know, take a hike."
Yeah.
Just, you know, it's like I look at it as a payment to get the heck away from me. Because I don't trust these people if they're hustling people. I mean, you can tell when people are legit. Well, sometimes.
Well, like we pulled in, we saw him going from truck to
Truck to
truck, and we're like,
truck,
"Hurry,
well,
let's
we
get inside." And
So already I could tell that he was making more money than I was. You know what I mean? For the less miles even. So we come back out. We got pizza that time.
Yes, because this was during freaking Fat February.
And we got cheese sticks too.
I was so excited for the cheese sticks because it's all like, I can't say that's all I've wanted. I've said that about like 20 different things. We'd be at the store and I'm like, man, this is all I've wanted to eat. Go ahead and get them.
Yeah,
but it was one of the things I really wanted. I was so excited when you got them.
Yeah. And
so then when he walked up to us and he said, "Hey guys, I used to be an over-road trucker and I got my license taken away. And so now I'm just trying to get by and da-da-da, you know." And for me, I used to live in a city, and so I was like literally about ready to be like, "How'd you get taken away?" Like, and Derek's like, "Hey, I don't want stabbed, so this is what we need to do if we run into someone like that." So he's like, well, are you hungry? All I have is these breadsticks, and I'm like,
or I said I can give you these breadsticks.
And so I look at Derek because I'm like, "Are you freaking kidding me? He's gonna give our breadsticks away." And the guy looks like this. He looks at it and he goes, "Do you have any sauce?" Literally, I'm not somebody who gets mad very easily, but ungratefulness is like my biggest thing that I can't stand. This sounds so mean.
So I
wanted to punch him because I wanted to be like, this is part of our food, and we're giving it to you, and you're being like not grateful at all.
I told Cinnamon right then and there. I knew that he was hustling us. I was like, that was official.
Yeah.
If you're freaking on the streets, you eat out of a freaking trash can. But if somebody hands you food, do you even got any sauce or whatever? You make stupid comments like that. You can tell.
And Derek goes, "Take it or leave it, man." And he goes, "All right." Takes it and walks away. And I go, "You're welcome." Like this. And he like looks at me and he goes like that and kept walking. And Derek's like, "Let's just go to the truck. Come on." And I was so mad.
I keep telling Cinnamon, "You're going to get me in a fight sometime."
I can't stand when somebody doesn't say thank you. Because nobody owes you anything.
Yeah, well.
Okay, so
anyways, whatever. Like I told Cinnamon, it's on that person. If they're not legit, they have to answer to God for that. It's not our problem. It's their problem.
Yeah.
So
that was the only place. Can I say where it was?
It was like Gary, Indiana.
Gary, Indiana. Yeah. And after the guy walks away, Derek's like, "I was told never to stop in Gary, Indiana. I think this is Gary, Indiana." I'm like, "Well, dang."
Yeah,
so
I'm pretty sure
bad, but we were starving and we both had to go to the bathroom.
Yeah,
so we had to stop. But so we take precautions where we don't stop in cities.
Mm-hmm.
We don't even stop at rest areas, especially at night. If we absolutely have to, we will. Yeah. But we don't.
We do stop at rest areas during the day, but I mean,
if there's no other truck stops, really.
We mostly go to truck stops so that way if we need to fill up or want to eat, coffee, we can do everything all at once. Yeah. But to be honest, since the whole virus thing, we stopped getting coffee because something else that somebody else handles, you know what I mean? But,
yeah. So anyways, the place that we park at is kind of like borderline outside of our, safety measures where It's not in a city, but it's kind of close. But it is close to a place that we frequently pick up or frequently drop off to.
Yeah.
So we pull in, and this is like right after midnight. I think it was like 12:30, our time maybe.
It don't matter.
Something like that. And so Derek wakes me up, and I kind of hear in his voice like he's kind of like more direct and stuff. And he's like, "Hey," and I'm like, he's like, and I'm like, "What?" And he's like, "What'd you say? There's a car I don't feel good about."
There's a suspicious SUV behind us. I don't feel good about it.
I'm like, "Oh," and he's like, "Yeah, it circled around our truck,
Well,
and then it parked behind us."
like I told Cinema, you gotta go to the rest. She goes, yeah. I go, hurry up, just go inside and come back or whatever.
Yeah.
And I told her, when you come back, walk to the back to make sure that it's still locked up.
Yeah.
Because I was sitting in the driver's seat, just looking in the mirrors the whole time, watching that dude and watching Cinnamon to make sure she gets there okay. And this is like part of the reason why, like the main reason why we park in the front of truck stops if we can. I don't care if it's an RV space, you know. I mainly do this for Cinnamon's safety, because I'm sleeping while she's awake. We try to keep that sleep schedule, and I can't, you know, I'm not going to get up just to make sure she gets to the restroom, you know. Maybe I might wake up, you know. If I do, then I'll watch to make sure she does or whatever.
Right.
So basically this is like a safety issue, and we were in front of a truck stop, so that's why there was a car behind us. But when it pulled in, it was driving really slow in front of us, and then right beside us really slow, and I couldn't see in their vehicle. It's just tinted windows, but I made sure I was looking at their driver's side. And right behind them, cops came in. There's 3 squad cars, and it pulled up to the building. So then I felt like that car was kind of driving slow because of us, and then because of the cops. And then it kind of was parked behind us, but not in a spot. It was just sitting there. And so I was just watching them, and I got out of the seat, and I had these LED lights on, so you can kind of see in the truck. So I wanted the cops to see that I was looking at them, so I was kind of standing up close to the mirror. I made sure, like, wherever the vehicle was going, I made my body go over there too, towards the mirror, so that way the cops could be suspicious of me looking, and then maybe they'd look at the vehicle, you know?
Yeah.
So basically, I watched them like a hawk while Cinema was out to the restroom. She comes back, does a walk around. Everything was fine. She comes back in. So we're both sitting up front just watching that vehicle and watching the cops to see if there's anything related. And there wasn't, and our drop was less than 5 miles away. And we both used the restroom.
Did the pre-trip real quick and stuff, but
Yeah.
like he kept an eye on the vehicle. Was there a point though that you thought that maybe he was with them because he arrived at the same time?
Yeah, I thought maybe he was with the cops, because he kept his lights on after he finally parked, and it was like right behind our truck.
Yeah.
And so I thought maybe he was with them because the squad cars left their headlights on. And then there was some dude that walked up, was talking to the cops, so I thought maybe that was the SUV, maybe it was an undercover cop. And so after he walked away, I told Cinnamon to watch that guy to see where he goes. He didn't go to the SUV that was suspicious. The headlights were still on. And so we were getting ready to leave. And so I walked up to the cops.
And he made sure that he didn't look back.
Yeah, I
so
didn't
the
want
guy
that
would
dude to
think
be
that
suspicious.
He was, like, so he faced the cops and he's like, "Look, this is what's going on.
There's a SUV behind us I'm suspicious of." And
he circled our car,
he's
he
like,
parked behind
he's
us.
like, which vehicle? And I didn't turn around at all. I said he had his headlights on for the longest time. He's directly behind us. And I told him what he did. He's like, "It's a tan Jimmy." I go, "Yeah." I go, "Is there any way you guys could follow us to our drop?" And they're like, "Where is it?" And I told them the address. And they were going to have a squad car follow us right away. He's like, "Tell you what, you go ahead and leave. We'll wait here a little bit and see if he follows." Well, we ended up leaving or whatever in about, I don't know, maybe a minute or so. I was watching the mirrors hardcore.
Because I was driving and he's like just waiting, you know, and there was nobody because
it's late at night.
And
you know?
it seemed like a lot of people were actually following the not being out.
Yeah.
There was a little decline in the numbers. But...
So I ended up seeing some headlights, and I'm like, dang it.
Yeah.
So they're following us a while, and then not long, well, a little bit after that, I see another car pull out, same area, And it looked like they were way behind, but then they were flying to catch up with that other vehicle. I was like, son of a gun. I was like, it's got to be them cops. And so we turned onto another road that was, really close to where we were going. And I see that car just speeding up. I'm like, it's got to be them cops.
Yeah.
Suddenly, after a while, that other vehicle went somewhere else. And so we pull into where we're going. Sure enough, it was a cop. After we pulled in, he kept going, turned around. Well, when we got on the one road, when they pulled in behind us, they slowed way down. You know how cops do when they're like prowling, you know what I mean? They keep their distance and just watching slowly. They're doing that thing. And then after we pulled in, they drove past normal and turned around and kind of drove slow, And then we got in, they was gone, but that was pretty cool that they
Thank you to them. That big shout out to them, and it felt really nice. Like,
yeah,
that was awesome. But it is a reality. There are people out there, so just
And this, I don't even think this was a load that was high security, but
no,
we try to treat, even if we're empty,
because we're responsible for it.
Well, even if we're empty, we try to treat the truck as if we are under high security, because you don't know what idiots think that we're loaded with something expensive, even though we're not. You know what I mean? So you just got to be cautious all the time, because of dumb, like if they're dumb enough to break in, they're dumb. So you don't know what dumb, how dumb they are.
Say dumb one more time.
Dumb. Let's go ahead and take a break for the dumb idiots out there. That sounds bad. I mean, not for the people watching.
Because you guys are dumb.
Yeah, it's dedicated to the people that want to break in, those dumb idiots. I'm not even dedicating it to them. Let's just take a break.
They're dumb.
It's technically March 28th right now.
Mm-hmm.
Our goal is to try to be brave and only take loads that are appropriate for us, and bid better, so that way it's like it was when we first started, to try to get the same rate that we got before, or somewhat close. That's fair to FedEx, and that's fair to us and our fleet owners, so that way we can try to make what we need to make. We are in a C truck, which is only a 2-axle truck. We're not going to make the same amount of money that a 3-axle does, and we don't have the opportunities that they do. From what I'm hearing, they have about 20 to 40 more load opportunities, and not opportunities to C-Link, just on the load board, more than us. So it'll be an advantage to us once we move up. So we're not going to make the same amount of money that they do, but we would like to hit 30,000 to the truck.
That'd be fantastic.
Yeah, that's a goal of mine. I just think it'd be cool. I know it's been done before, but it's probably a little bit harder right now. But anyways, we're going to try to do better than just like 20 to 22 for April. We'll see what happens. Hopefully things get better, and other drivers out there aren't scared, and they're just taking crap off the board.
Yeah.
It's just crazy what kind of pay they're taking out to California. It's just...
Yeah.
And
why would you take crappy pay out there if you're not really going to get something back? That's awesome pay.
Usually it's worse pay coming back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just, I don't understand it. It's like, I feel like when you do stuff like that, it's more like equivalent to some of these tractor trailers where they're getting like 53 cents a mile. Once they get the money.
Yeah.
It just, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but it's a sit around and wait game, and so we're going to have to sit around and wait instead of hustling. I'm not even sure how many miles we did this past week, but it felt like a ton. I don't know. Maybe I'm off. Maybe it's not. I know it wasn't 4,000, so it wasn't a lot, but I felt like we're hustling more. Like they're...
Well, because we had Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Like, as soon as we dropped something off, we were headed to the next load. So...
I think when we first started, we would have like pick up this day, drop this day, and then not pick off
next day.
Yeah. So you had some time in between,
and it was enough pay that it was actually more than what we're getting for hustling. Like now, we have to.
Yeah, but I mean,
we're not afraid of hard work or anything like that. But it just stinks when you're used to still working hard and getting great pay, and then like having to like pull teeth just to get a load. and not even get as much as you were getting.
Yeah, I just feel like we should be getting paid more because we're a team. So that's a extra feature. We have a reefer truck, so that's an extra feature, and then some of these loads are high security loads where
And hazmat.
you got hazmat. So I mean, there's all kinds of added stuff. There's stuff that is lift gate that should be added, and then when you move the freight, white glove, when you move the freight for the customer and all that, so I feel like, some of these loads are
paying like their dry runs.
Yeah.
Like they're,
yeah. And then the dry runs are crap.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is what it is.
I don't want to make it sound like we're not grateful for the job, because we are very grateful for the job.
But we still need to make money.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
enough for all of us.
Right. I mean, yeah. So it lands on us too. We'll try to hold our guns and see what happens. I think we still have that fear in us of the hot shotting to where we feel like we got to be running. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We just got to get that out of us. And it kind of slowed up in the wintertime, so that kind of fear snuck back in too. But we can get this.
Are we taking the things off our keychain for Wendy's?
I already did.
You did?
Yeah, we had these things on our keychains for a free Frosty, a junior Frosty.
They had to support adoptions, and so if you bought the little thing, anytime you go into a Wendy's, you can show it, and they'll give you a junior Frosty.
Yeah.
So we bought 2 of them so that each of us could have a junior Frosty. But we have actually tended to stop at more Wendy's.
Yeah.
Because we do like their burgers more.
The burgers, I like them the best.
I like them
now.
the best too.
Yeah.
I do too. The fresh aspect you can definitely taste.
Mm-hmm.
But now when we go in there, Derek went in the other day and he's like, can you put both of them into one? Because then his plan was he was gonna stop at a different one because it says limit, 1 per thing that you had per visit. And so if you went to visit another one, and you don't even have to buy anything when you're in there, you could just get this Frosty.
Well, we paid for 2 of those things.
Yeah,
so
we
it's
did.
not like no. I mean, they have to. You know what I mean?
Right.
If I had 4, they'd have to give me 4.
So he was gonna go into another one and get one for me, like a regular size one, a good size one, like with 2. And so Derek asked me. He always comes up with the plans, like the good ideas with trying to stay healthier and stuff. And he's like, "It's okay if I just take these off and leave them at home?" I'm like, oh, yeah. Because if we don't have them, then we're not,
Yeah.
It's not like
it's the temptation. Take it away.
If we never had them and we walked into a Wendy's, we wouldn't automatically be like, hey, we should get some Frosties. I think more or less we get them more because we have it.
And we're addicted again to sugar.
Oh.
So it doesn't take long. So I did drop around 4 to 5 pounds since February. But, I still want to lose all the fat I can, so, but I want to work out too. And so that makes me sad that the gyms are closed right now. So we'll see what happens. But man, if you guys watched this video this long, thanks for hanging out with us. We really appreciate it.
Very, very thankful.
Yeah.
And impressed.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Drop us a comment. Let us know that you guys are here. And
are you working? You surviving?
And as always, tell us what state you're in and the temperature and all that.
Yeah.
Right now we're in Ohio. Do you know what the temperature is?
48, somewhere in there. I don't know.
Yeah, it's raining, but it's not freezing raining. You know what I mean? It's kind of a spring temperature kind of rain.
Yeah.
Not quite winter, where it stings and hurts and stuff.
But yeah, thanks for hanging out with us. It's kind of weird saying thanks for hanging out with us. And I'm looking you directly in the eyes.
I know, right?
It's weird.
Hey, thanks for hanging out with me.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for hanging out with me.
High five.
Hey. Wait, we gotta do the.
Hey, since this is our first one, we should figure out how to end it. You know what I mean? Thanks for joining us. Our relax, reset, and rewind. Everybody have a good day. Or something. I don't know.
I don't know.
Alright, thanks guys.
See you guys later.
Bye.
See you.
Bye.
nothing can break me.